Hey guys, it's Athena. I have a topic that I'm I think excited to talk to you about, but at the same time, organizing my thoughts has been a little bit of a kerfluffle. So I'm just going to start and hopefully make some sense out of it. One of the things you hear the most this time of year is the veil is thinning. I believe that is true. You can feel it. I can see it even in my students at school. There is just an interesting energy going around. As for me personally, it has ramped up my witchcraft exponentially, and that's been very interesting. This video is primarily going to focus on spell successes and failures and what constitutes a real success. When is a failure another success, just in a different form? I have experienced something that in all my relatively short years on this path has blown me away beyond anything else. I've had a number of successful spells. Freezer spells have pretty much been my jam, and I've had a couple banishing spells involving apples. One of them actually I posted on my channel, and if I remember, I'll link it below in case you're curious. That one I've had continued success from. The freezer spells I've had continued success from. I decided to try my hand at something new. I don't want to be a one-trick pony or a one-spell witchy. I wanted to just change it up a little bit. If you're friends with me on Facebook, then you saw for a brief time I had a post about some Dorothy Morrison products. I had a success that was so mind-blowing, it seemed unreal. It seemed like a movie. It was something out of a movie. I used the Dorothy Morrison ingredients. I had 2 candles and I had an oil, and that was it. I attribute some of that success to those products, but as I've said before, the real magic lies in the energy and in what you bring to the spell. It's not the same as a recipe where if you stir things and mix this, that, and the other and stick it in the oven for the right amount of time, boom, you're going to get what you plan on getting. Spell work is so different. I would love to give you details of what my situation has been, what my spell was for. I can't give you too much, but I'll try to give you a little Cliff Note version and leave out some of the incriminating details, I suppose. This is public view, and someone has questioned me recently if I have been open about the situation, what I've shared with others. I haven't shared anything about this, so I'm thankful that the details weren't out there because I was innocent, luckily, when they were questioning me. And that all rolls into the spell a little bit. Okay, if I could cobble together any sort of a cohesive, coherent story, that would be bonus, right? Yeah. She hadn't been around in a while. How much can I share? Okay, I'll just put it like this. Things were volatile in my life a few years ago. Beginning about 10 years ago, things got weird. They got bad. Like shit got real bad. I was in a bad place for a while. I was hurt. I was fucked up in the head, okay? I've grown and healed so much that it's been a surprise that within the last 3 months, there have been some scars that have reopened, kind of very surprisingly to me and to others who know me and who may or may not be involved. I thought I'd moved past some things, but it's become evident to me that I haven't. Some new angers have woken up and some pain has reawakened, and it's been really annoying. Now, I like to be a positive person. I like to assume the best, to learn from experiences, to not harbor anger and resentment and any kind of grudge. That is unhealthy. I do believe that quote, that I don't know who said it, but the whole idea of holding a grudge is like drinking poison and hoping the other person will die. It's stupid. Okay, so I try to be in a better headspace. I've done a lot of work with that, and I've come a long way until lately, when I realized this shit was happening and that it was affecting me negatively and that it was affecting me daily throughout much of the day. Maybe not while I'm at work, but the minute I got home. There were constant reminders. It's not that I was perseverating or dwelling. It's like literally there are signposts everywhere. There are reminders everywhere. My home is not a safe place, at least safe for my mental health. Couldn't come home and get away from it. I was away from it at school, but the minute I came home, almost every single damn day, some little reminder everywhere. And so I have talked to somebody who's also involved in this and taken the mundane, reasonable approach. I've shared my thoughts, been wide open with my thoughts and what I want and some different options. And basically, I was met with a wall. It was a kind wall, very calm, allowing me to vent and get a little ugly sometimes. But by the end of the conversation, it was a wall. It was, things are not going to change. There is one more mundane step I could take, but I hesitate going there because I could see some backlash. I'll just leave it at that. It's still in my back pocket. I still might do it. I don't know. Chapter 2 of this story, I decided, fuck it. Fuck it. I tried the mundane. It didn't help. I'm going to do it my way. Putting some magic stank on it. Okay? I cast a really, really intense spell. It wasn't a harmful spell. There was no part of it where someone should be hurt in any way. In fact, if what I want took place, joy and happiness was on the other end of it. I did sort of a counterbalancing, sweetening kind of spell. This was multi-step, y'all. This was the most multi-layered, intensive thing I've ever done thus far. And something cool about the Dorothy Morrison candles is they come with a little incantation on them. And on one of them, it said, "You will do what I say by the new moon." And that was like 3 days after my spell. On the fucking new moon, it happened. Everything I wanted happened. It was shocking. It was to the point that there was this random person that crawled out of the woodwork. If it wasn't some kind of fucking tulpa that I created, because I don't know this person. The people involved in the spell have never heard of this person. This person crawled out of the woodwork, said everything, created stuff that caused the change I was hoping for, but unfortunately in doing so also hurt some people. It made perfect sense why I was asked, have you been talking about this? Could somebody know about how you've been feeling? Because it seemed like someone off of YouTube may have heard me and come to my rescue and just laid down some shit, but I didn't know this person at all. I checked all my accounts, my mundane, my magical. This person is no one in my life. I've never seen them before. I've never met them before. That blew my mind. I walked around the next day after some pretty drastic changes took place and after I got exactly what I wanted. But then I saw some very hurt consequences, which was not my intention. I saw the aftermath. After this happened, I spent the whole day walking around in a daze. Part of me was like, fucking dang. I was utterly shocked by the swiftness, the efficiency, the bam, it's done. It left me dizzy. I should have felt so fucking happy. I took a picture of some evidence and shared it with a couple friends, but I didn't feel good. I felt horrible. I felt terrible because there were people harmed and hurt. I don't want to be the person to cause hurt. I just want to not have to be feeling hurt all the time. While that was the biggest success of my entire life, it reminded me of watch what you wish for, because you might just get it. And so I found myself comforting one of the people who is causing me unhappiness. They thanked me for being so supportive, which made me feel like more shit. Because I was like, I did this. I caused this pain to happen. I realized a few things about myself that day. I don't think I'm ever going to be able, outside of somebody hurting my children, because then fuck everything. Outside of that, I don't feel like I'm that kind of person who can go around and hurt others or cause pain in others and be okay with it, or tell myself they deserve it, because I'm not the judge and jury. I am not the karma beings. In fact, I was a little worried about my own karma there. By the end of that next day, to my relief, I have to be honest, to my relief, things were put right. Things were worked out. And things went right back to how they were before. I was overcome with relief. The guilt feeling I was walking around having that whole day was gone. But a little disappointment was there too, because my beautiful reigning success, my most Hollywood magical spell and instant results, had failed. But when I woke up the next morning and I journaled about it, I realized nothing failed. It was a success, and once I had what I wanted, I wasn't happy with it. And now something has shifted. I still don't love those reminders that I still see, but the white hot anger and piss offness that I was feeling before, I got that out of my system. I threw it all into that spell. I think that's how it energized it to the nth power. I spent it, and now I feel a little more at ease. Next morning when I was journaling, I had just been listening to an audiobook, and there was a quote about compassion, and something in me opened up, and something else sort of, at least for the moment, put down the burden I have been struggling with. I'm not going to sit here and say, yay, it's all fixed now, because I also know that the minute I declare something, it changes. It's just the way it is. I've known that since back as a child. My sister and I, we still talk about the jinxes. The minute you start talking about how you don't do this anymore, this is finally over, it comes back. You can't ever just sit on your laurels and be like, woohoo. But I can say the spell worked in interesting ways. It brought me the peace, at least some of the peace I was hoping for. It sort of has dampened, if not nearly put out, the anger, and it's opened my heart a bit. It's taught me stuff about myself. It was a raging success, is what I'm saying. Magnificent success. That's my story today. I hope I was able to share it in a way that made sense, and maybe you'll get something out of it. Maybe don't be too quick to judge whether your spell has failed or succeeded, because really, something I try to teach my students, there is no failure. There are only results. And you can look at your results and you can decide what you want to do with those. All real learning and growth requires reflection, honest reflection, looking at yourself, looking at your motivations, your desires, your shadows. This is a big shadowy thing for me. I know I have a shit ton of shadow work to do. We have a waxing moon right now, so this isn't the time for that shadow work. This is the time for bringing in what I want more of. But perhaps at the next dark moon, I'll see where I am in all this. There are still times I think about taking the other course of action, talking to somebody else that I have not really spoken to at all, and opening up, but doing it with compassion. Thank you for watching, and I wish you the best. Peace.